Lost track of the routine. I want to say, first of all, it's really wonderful to be able to be back with you. It was wonderful to be able to take the break that we took. I don't know how it went for all of you, because I really haven't talked to very many people. But for us, it was both too short and too long. But it was probably the most amazing time we've ever had in our lives, really. And so we'll be sharing more of that as the probably weeks and months and who knows, maybe even years, because God really met us down there. Now, we went down there expecting to just get some R&R, some rest and relaxation. And I'm sure many of you envisioned that we were just laying out, you know, by the pool, drinking pina coladas or something. And I'll let you decide whether or not they were virgin. Those of you that know me well would already know the answer to that question. But anyway, but it didn't exactly, like most things do, and God's in it, didn't exactly go like we had planned. So it's funny how we will keep ourselves busy in order to not have to deal with stuff. And all of a sudden, when all the busyness stops, and you're just left with you and all your problems, like, it's really true. Like, you can't get away from yourself, or you can't get away from your problems, right? And so when you're left with just that, then you have to deal. Yeah? And so I didn't realize how much I was using ministry and all kinds of different stuff to escape issues that God was wanting me to deal with in my heart that I didn't even know were there. Seriously, didn't even know were there. So, but God put us on a fast track to renewal and healing. And it's funny that we ended up in Phoenix, because I really don't know why. Julie was involved in, you know, all the arrangements and details and stuff. And she's the one that decided, well, we decided together, but it was her idea that we go down to Phoenix. Now, how many of you know what a phoenix is? How many know what that is? Okay, it's a bird. It's actually a bird that's in the Bible. I don't know if you knew that. It's actually in the Bible, in the book of Job. It talks about the phoenix bird who, and what he does, or she, is when it reaches like 1,000 years old or whatever, sets itself on fire until it's completely consumed. And there's nothing left but ash. And then out of the ash, a new phoenix is reborn and rises again. So that's why you have the whole idea of phoenix rising and all that stuff, right? And so ironically, that's kind of what happened to us. Definitely what happened to me. And I think we were there 13 weeks, so we had about 6 weeks of setting ourselves on fire. And then 6 weeks of renewal and rebirth. And really, so I will say this, the last 3 months have been by far the most supernatural 3 months that we've ever experienced. I had the most powerful supernatural experiences and encounters that I've ever had in my life. And just when I thought, wow, that was the most powerful encounter I've ever had, I'd have another one. And we met some wonderful people who really helped us. And God really did download some stuff that I think is eternal, that came from heaven for us, that was transforming for us. And we're really looking forward to being able to share that stuff with you. Amen? So it's going to be good. Spiritual Growth Night, Wednesday night, I'll be back, obviously. Wednesday night, we're going to change it up the way we're doing it. So if you're curious, it's going to be more interactive and participatory, a little bit less teaching. Because one of the things I really realized was that there is a big difference between information and transformation, right? And being informed doesn't necessarily change you. In fact, often what it does is it just causes everything to go to your head. And so we're going to do some stuff to help you open up more to the Spirit of God and more to a transforming experience. So we're excited about that. So this Wednesday night, we're going to talk about the Holy Spirit. I understand the consecration time was all that. So enough about me. I want to thank everybody who stepped up, who participated, who filled in for me, who just helped us to be able to have this time because it was very, very important for us. I would have completely burned out and crashed and burned and just been another statistic if we hadn't gotten away. So, but we did come back. I know some of you thought we weren't going to do that. That was never in the works. We never thought, oh, let's don't go back to Pueblo. So we are back. We are here as long as the Lord has us here. You know how God is, right? I want to say we're here to stay. That's our plan. But we're open to whatever God has for us. That's not to say we're looking or searching or seeking. That's just to say, Lord willing, we're here to stay. Is that cool? All right, so having said that, Julie and I both went through transformation down there, and our relationship went through transformation. One of the things I learned about myself was that I often lack self-awareness. How many of you can relate to that? And so I probably can't speak to all the change that happened with me when I was down there, or how magnificent a transformation took place. But I have observed Julie through this process, and the transformation that took place in Julie left me at a place where I had absolutely no doubt that God was very involved in what was going on, right? And what happened with her was she did some very simple things that radically changed her life. So I have put her on the spot, and I have asked her this morning if she would share what happened in her and share with you some things. So be gracious with her. She's never spoken on a Sunday morning before. Okay? But I think it's going to be so beneficial for you to hear from her. So with that, would you help me just greet her and welcome her as she comes to share?
Whistled. Of course. Bless you. I just want to reiterate what Aaron said, just the thanks of letting us do this and get away and staying strong and supportive and involved here. It was so needed for us to do that, to just get away, and we wouldn't have been able to do that if we hadn't had the support of our family here. It was just wonderful, and thank you. So, yeah, I'm just a little bit nervous. So I'm going to take a minute and acknowledge, God, I just thank you for your presence with me right now. I thank you that you are the source of my life. It is in you that I live and breathe and have my being, and I know that your presence is with me. I thank you for your strength and that you are speaking through me. Amen. Okay, so how many of you actually came here this morning, like super excited, and just couldn't wait to hear Aaron speak? And now you're a little bit disappointed? No, I don't know. I think we might have some liars here. I think there's probably at least one or two of you that are just a little bit disappointed. But you know what? There was a time I'd have said, if you're a liar, that's a bad thing. Right? We teach not to lie. I teach my kids, don't lie. But is it a lie? I mean, is it a bad thing if you're actually saying, no, I want to hear from you because you're trying to spare my feelings? Does that make it good? Because your intention is good? Nah, I don't know. Maybe it's neither bad nor good. That is a lesson that I have learned in this time period in my life. Just the good, bad thing. I grew up in a Christian church. So all my life, I was taught that we need to deal with sin, that sin is a bad thing, and we need to get it out of our lives, that we need to look to the Bible and find out what that bad stuff is and make sure we're not doing it, because God forbid if we're doing it, he'll be angry at us, he'll judge us. And I grew up with that. Here we haven't dealt with that so much. We've tried to be a little less judging here. a little more accepting, but that was still rooted in me. All that good, bad judgment. You should do this, you shouldn't do this. Stay away from that. This is right, this is wrong. It was ingrained in me. And I found out that it was really causing me some issues. But one of those things that I had judged in me, I mean, as a teenager, we go through those teenager things, and I had some struggles, and I was doing some bad things. Not really bad. I haven't had a hard life, but the normal bad stuff. And so I had a lot of shame from that and had to deal with that at one point in my life and thought I got rid of that. But one thing that I just couldn't seem to overcome was anger. I don't know what it is with the anger. I don't know. I go to God, Lord, take that anger from me. It's so ugly. I hate it. It's ugly. Take it. It's bad. Okay, I feel better. All right, come along. Oh, I'm so angry right now. I just want to hurt somebody. Darn, it's bad. Oh, I hate that anger. It's so bad. I hate that in me. That anger is so nasty, so ugly. Okay, Lord, here I am again. Take that anger from me. I give it to you. All right, doing pretty good. A few months go by, and I blow my top again. I'm so angry. I just broke something. God, what am I going to do about that big hole in the wall? Crap. Everyone's going to know I have a temper problem now. Dang it. God, help me, please. This isn't good. And worst of all, I'm now a pastor's wife. How is that going to look? Dang! What am I going to do about this? Still, I have this anger. So then we find out, well, some of these struggles in your life, sometimes it's there because it's trying to show you something about yourself. So, okay, I got some counsel, went to Freedom Prayer. I found out what it was trying to show me. I found out that I felt powerless. Imagine me feeling powerless. Yeah, I felt powerless. And I felt like a victim sometimes. And even if those weren't what was triggering my anger, that was the underlying root. So, okay, well, now I know. So, okay, that's the lesson. All right, thank you, God, that I have your strength. I have your power. Now I'm just going to come against that anger and reject it and get it out of my life. I cast you out right now. Oh, awesome. I feel so much better. A couple months go by. Oh, I'm so angry. Oh, I just broke my phone. Dang it. Here we go again. I thought I dealt with this. No. So time goes on, still struggling. And then about a year ago, Aaron and I are on one of those few precious date nights that we get. And we're walking along the Riverwalk. And we're talking about a couple of my issues and some struggles that I'm having. And I don't remember the conversation real well. But he said something to me, and I don't even have a clue what he said. He's even repeated it to me, and I still don't remember what it was. Because honestly, when he said it, it was like it wasn't him speaking, it was God. And there weren't words for it, but God came in, and he touched my heart, and it was like he pulled something out that shattered a foundation of beliefs that I had built my life on. And it wasn't like, oh, wow, glory, that's gone. Honestly, it was confusing. It was disorienting. I felt lost. I didn't know what was going on with me. I wanted to cry. He didn't understand what was going on with me. It was just a weird thing. But it started something in me. And unfortunately, that confusion didn't clear up. It got worse. And so then for the next few months, I started struggling more and more. And Aaron was going through his own struggles, but that's his story. I'm not going to share it. But I started going through a dark time. Instead of having outbursts of anger, I was just generally angry. I wasn't happy. I wasn't enjoying coming here. Sorry, guys, as much as I love you and as great as you are, I just wasn't enjoying things. I wasn't I didn't want to read my Bible. I wasn't enjoying anything. It just wasn't good. I wasn't enjoying my boys. And it was getting to be kind of a bummer. So Aaron says, we need some help. Let's, for our anniversary, go to this conference. How many of you would like to spend your anniversary at a conference? Yeah. So we go to hear this guy that I hadn't really ever heard before. I'd seen his books around the house because Aaron had a few, but I don't read that stuff, so I'd never read it. So I didn't know what I was getting into. So we go to this conference, and the first day was not so great. I was cranky. We kind of were in a little bit of a tiff listening to this guy, and he was okay, but to be quite honest, he said just a theory he threw out that I got, yeah, he's remembering. I didn't like it at all. It made me angry, and I was angry the rest of the day. So there goes that anger again, right? And I felt good being in my anger. I was just mad. But he was saying other than that, he was saying some things that kind of piqued my interest. So the next day I go, and I'm listening to him, and he's kind of interesting. Did I say his name already? No, it was Greg Braden. Aaron's kind of taught some of his stuff before, and he was actually pretty good. So he is, in case you didn't know, a scientist, and he's done a lot of research and a lot of studies, and I'm not really good with remembering the facts. That's his story. Anyway, it's not mine. So he's teaching these things about science and how science can prove how we're all connected and different things. And I'm thinking it's really interesting. And then on the third day, he kind of introduces a little bit of something called heart coherence. And I'm like, oh, that's something that I could really use right now. But we didn't really get into it until on the very last day. And he showed all kinds of science stuff that the Heart Math Institute has shown. If you get into your heart and get coherence, all the wonderful benefits that it can show in your life. And I thought, why not give it a try? At this point, what could I lose, right? So I do it, and I feel better. Like, some of this cloud that I've been living under is starting to lift. So I keep practicing it through the day and keep practicing it. And by the end of the day, I'm like in a really good mood. And we're getting along and things are improving. And I come home and I'm working it. And what they teach is if you can get into your heart and just really feel appreciation, gratitude, care, compassion. I know Aaron's kind of shared some of this stuff. That it changes even stuff in your body. And it was. And I have to tell you, circumstances weren't really changing, but like I was getting some relief in my life. But, I mean, as you know, obviously things still weren't fantastic, otherwise we wouldn't have done the sabbatical, right? So we head off to Phoenix, and the first thing I get to do after we get settled in is go to a conference and hear Greg Braden again. And actually, it was really great. Aaron signed me up. I didn't really know about it, but it was awesome. And I went by myself, which is scary, but I did pretty good. There was so much love and acceptance at this conference that it was just awesome. But one thing, and the conference, the theme wasn't this, but I picked up, I think because that's what I needed to hear, one thing that every speaker shared at that conference that just seared into my heart was you need to let go of judgments. If you're holding on to judgments, it blocks the divine source of life, and you cannot receive life. So I was learning I had to let go of this is good, this is bad, because you know if you're judging something, well, this is good, it's not bad, that's still a judgment. I had to let go of right, wrong, should, shouldn't. So that was really transforming to me, and it started a whirlwind of changes It was like when I said, okay, God, I receive that from you. I receive that that's from you. He opened up a floodgate of people at that point to step into our lives and help us and speak to us. And I can't even put into words what happened to us down there. It was truly a whirlwind. And I am a different person. And just going back to that anger, I came back from that conference, and I had a little outburst. It wasn't as bad as some of them, but I had a little outburst, and I was like, dang it, it's still there. So I actually had gotten in contact with a therapist. So I go to see this therapist, and I tell her about it, and she says, well, do you know what it's there to teach you? Well, yeah, I learned that a long time ago. I'm feeling powerless. Okay, so what's going on? Well, I don't know. You tell me. You're the therapist? Well, how are you feeling about that anger? Well, I hate it. It's awful. Okay, there's your problem. You're judging it. Well, of course I'm judging it. It's wrong. Oh, yeah, I'm judging it. Okay, yeah. So what do I need to do? So she walks me through, well, the next time you get angry, instead of resisting it and judging it, just be angry. If you can't be angry around your kids, go in the other room and just be angry. And then say, anger, I thank you for showing me that I'm feeling powerless right now. And I receive from the source of life divine power. And you know what? I've had a little bit of upset this morning. My son dumped out all the fish food all over the floor, and yeah, I was upset. But I didn't want to hurt somebody or break something. And I'm doing pretty good. So that's my story. And just to share a little bit, because we have to share from the Bible, right? Oh, that's a should. I was just going to share, though, from Genesis, because we've been hearing this stuff for a while. And I know we're sick of Genesis. I can even hear your thoughts. Oh, my God, are you kidding, Genesis again? I think I haven't memorized. I know, me too. But obviously I wasn't getting it. Because Aaron has taught over and over about the tree of knowledge, right? So there's a tree of life that is, if you quit taking things literally, is actually the source, God's life. It's his life. He is the tree of life. Because is there any life without him? No. So he's saying, I'm here. I'm your source. If you come to me, you can get everything you need and you'll have life. But because I love you, I know that you need a choice. I'm not going to force you to come to me. So I'm going to offer you the chance to know good and evil on your own. And it's not going to be fun, but I'm going to give you that choice. And so what did Adam and Eve do? They ate of that tree of knowledge. They wanted to be able to judge for themselves. And did any of you all, in any of those times reading that, catch that God didn't actually go to them and say, oh, you're so bad, I can't believe that you ate of that? I didn't really catch that. Growing up, I always thought that God came to them and said, what did you do? That's horrible. I curse you now. But God didn't really do that. God wanted to know from them. He wanted them to see what they had done. Who told you you were naked? Who showed you this? What did you do? Why are you seeing this now? He was inviting them to search what they had done and the results of it. But they had judged themselves as wrong at this point. So everything they were seeing from this point on was filtered through a lens of right or wrong, good or bad. And you know it wasn't God that cursed them. The curse came through them because now they're seeing bad things. And they still had the power of dominion over the earth. But they're seeing bad things. So they see a plant that they don't like. Ugh, that's an ugly plant. Suddenly it's a weed. They brought the curse through their tainted lens. We still live in constant judging or polarity of good, bad, right, wrong, should, shouldn't. We even judge people. He's a good person. Did you know that's a judgment? Even Jesus said, "Why do you call me good?" We say bad people are people who break the law and they need to go to jail. That's a judgment. And I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, but I mean, I'm not putting a judgment there. We say stuff like, they shouldn't dress like that. They shouldn't act that way. Those are all judgments. We even judge animals. Good dog. Oh, you're a bad dog. Right? Did you know we even judge food? Oh, man, that was a really good steak. Can steak be good? No. Yeah. Actually, the flavor is in your mouth. Is in the palate of the person eating it. It's not actually in the steak. So a more empowering way to look at that is I really enjoyed the steak. Aaron and I don't like our steaks cooked the same way. So a good steak to me is not going to be a good steak to him. That's all right. Thank you. So going back to Genesis, God creates light and he divides darkness. And then what does he do? He steps back and he says, it's very good. Did he take away the darkness? No, it's still there. And just in case you missed it, that light and that darkness is actually not the sun and the moon. So you have to kind of infer maybe what he's talking about. I think maybe he's talking about good times, happy times, and times of struggle. And it's good because those times of struggle, my anger, teach you things. And not that it's always fun. But he continues with creation, and everything he creates, he calls it good. Now, I know I just said that when you're calling something good, it's a judgment, but you notice he never once stands back and says, this is bad. So there is no judgment because he didn't have to make a choice. Is this good or bad? Everything was good. There are still polarities. There's an equal amount of light and an equal amount of darkness. We have a longest day, a shortest day. We have hot, cold, wet, dry, male, female. And we still have to deal with the difficulties in our life. But it's when we pass judgment on them that they become the source of our unhappiness. And it's okay to feel those difficulties. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to feel the anger that I had. It was okay. I needed to feel that anger and realize that's a part of me and accept it. But it wasn't until I stopped passing the judgment that it quit having control over me. And it was then that I found my own greatness and power. So when we judge, we miss the lesson because we resist the experience. It keeps us out of our hearts and in our heads and creates all kinds of suffering. I was really suffering through that. So letting go of all judgment opens the way for an inward experience of gratefulness because all experiences, all things, all people are worthy of appreciation. And just so that I'm clear, heartfelt appreciation is not content things. In other words, it's not counting blessings. It's holding the feeling of appreciation in my heart, feeling gratitude versus making a mental list of things that I'm grateful for. So having an experience of grateful gratitude, appreciation, care, compassion, it can elevate your life and spirituality. That's part of what Greg Braden, the Heart Math, have been teaching. They actually can prove that it changes your DNA and improves your life. Finding the appreciation in my heart helped me start the change in my life that has completely transformed me. And I really, truly am not the same person. I am happier, possibly, than I have ever been in my life. I remember one time period where it was close. And that's it. I am truly happier than I have ever been. I feel freer, more alive. I feel younger. Yeah, that's always a good one, right? And even healthier. And I've been able to enjoy the liveliness and even the messiness of my two wild boys that are so busy and so into everything. They have blessed my life, and I thank you for letting me share that this morning.
Not bad for your first time. Did you catch that? Okay, I was just seeing if people were listening. Close your eyes for a minute. Just close your eyes. Put your hand just gently on your heart. You can use your fingertips. You can do it like you're saying the pledge, but do it very gently. And we're going to do a breathing exercise because breath will change your state. So I want you, we're going to take 3 deep breaths, but we're going to do it together. We're going to breathe in for 5 seconds. We're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Well, count of 5. We're going to breathe out, count of 5, and then we're going to hold count of 5. All right? I'll walk you through it. We're going to do it 3 times. So I want you to breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now don't inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now just take a couple seconds and let your normal pattern of breathing come back. Keep your eyes closed, keep your hand on your heart, and just let your normal pattern of breathing come back to you. Now, thinking about your heart, I want you to think about something that you're truly grateful for, or a situation, a person that you can have true compassion for. Not pity, but compassion. Love. And I want you to think about that until you have that feeling of appreciation or you have that feeling of compassion. And I want you to hold that feeling for just a couple of minutes. Very gently, just take a deep breath, open your eyes, put your hand down. How many of you could feel that space that you created, or that vibe? How many of you could feel it? The feeling is important. I don't know if you caught what Julie said, because we're taught Thanksgiving, we're taught to count your blessings, write down things you're thankful for, keep an appreciation journal until you sit there, but that does nothing to change you. It's holding the feeling of appreciation. So if you've only got one thing, or the feeling of care, or the feeling of compassion, so if you've only got one thing that you can be grateful for and actually feel that, or you've only got one situation, I mean, you could think of, like, the thing that always pulls at me, it's crazy, but you know those darn Humane Society commercials that they play for like 3 minutes, and they're singing some sappy song and showing you all these, how many of you feel that when you see that? That's compassion. So you can think about that. But just holding that feeling, holding that vibration, you get healthier, your immune system turns on, it reverses the aging process. And you know what they've proven, heart math? You only have to do it for 3 minutes to get all the benefits out of it. See, I was taught you had to have 20-some positive statements to counteract the effect of one negative statement. How many of you ever heard something stupid like that? So basically what we're saying is the negative is so much more powerful than the positive. The truth is, you can get angry for a period of time, and all it takes is 3 minutes of accessing the feelings to reverse the effect. It's really true. Pretty powerful, huh? Okay, just one last thing I want to add, because this is so hard for us as Christians, and we're going to be living here probably for a little bit, is letting go of the judgments, because our whole Christian life we are told good, bad, especially some of you, bless your hearts. I spent some time when I was in Arkansas with a pastor from a tradition that many of you come out of that I had no experience with. Yeah, that one. And I thought, all y'all that came out of that, we're starting a religion recovery group when I get back, because that stuff is sick. I mean, talk about the no fun league. But anyway, seriously. But anyway, I digress. So it's scary at first when you say, okay, I'm going to let go of good and bad, right and wrong. How could that even, that's not Christian. But I promise you, it really is. We just can't see it because we've been conditioned to see something else. Here's the reality. When you let go of that, you can speak more accurately and truthfully about situations. Julie gave you the illustration of the steak. What if I said what if I said sushi is really good? Yeah, see, Gay doesn't agree with me, right? Sushi's not good, is it? Actually, what you do is you give away your power. The goodness is not in the sushi. The goodness is in your enjoyment of it. So it's not accurate to say sushi is good or liver is bad. Although it is, but but it's not. Do you see what you're doing? Do you see how you're projecting something there that doesn't exist? It's actually an unreality. Good and bad, that's why when Adam and Eve ate at the good-bad tree, they fell into deception, because good and bad is a deception. It never exists. It never exists. It's a judgment. So when you catch yourself saying, that's good, if you can reframe it and say, what's more accurate? I enjoy eating sushi. That's true. Or I don't enjoy eating sushi, I want to throw up. Do you see what I'm saying? So did Julie, that was a good point. Well, maybe you didn't think it was a good point because maybe it was upsetting you. So, but you could say that was very valid for your experience. Do you see how that's more accurate? Or that really helped you? I found what she shared to be very helpful for me in my life, rather than I found it to be very good. Or what she shared didn't connect with me, rather than, man, that was just a terrible message that she gave. You see how we do that? So you have to break out of that trap. Because actually the gospel is, God tells you what's right or wrong and then says, I'm going to forgive it. Because he's showing us how easy it is at the tree of knowledge. He's actually modeling for us what we did at the tree of knowledge and then showing us the pathway to life. So when God is standing there as judge, he's actually mirroring back what Adam did to Adam so Adam can see it. And then when he forgives in Christ, he says that's not the way to life. And the whole gospel is about letting go of the image of God as a judge. Okay. Some of you will see you in about 30 minutes. Hope to see all of you at the luncheon or whatever. If you can't make it, we certainly understand. God bless you. Have a great day.
I would like to add something, Julie, to go back to your statement about lying. I'm going to tell a lie. It was awful. Y'all enjoy the goodies across the hall. Come back for the second service if you will. Don't or